Skin like chocolate, I call her cocoa. Make she follow me go, go and fly away, girl. Nobody will have to know. Skin like chocolate, I call her cocoa. Make she follow me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Manka or Miss Cameroon. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about basically my life in Ghana. Today is the 16th of December, which means that it has been literally exactly 1 whole year since I have lived, well, no, it's been 1 whole year since I left the UK, which is absolutely crazy. As an adult, this is the longest time I've ever lived out of England, or like literally anywhere, let alone in a whole different continent. And obviously I'm not Ghanaian, I'm from Cameroon, so I thought with it being the 1 year mark, I will come on here and just tell you about how my experience has been, any regrets that I've had, anything that I've enjoyed, or anything that I feel like is significant to share with you guys, because I know that there are a lot of people that are like me, that would benefit just from hearing my experience. One thing that I definitely did when I did find out that I was going to be moving was I was doing as much research as I possibly could, because obviously I've never lived anywhere out of England. There's so much that you have to learn about and find out about and educate yourself about, because it's not just a holiday. I feel like it's very different. Obviously it's very different being on holiday somewhere and actually packing all your belongings and moving. So I wanted to talk to you about my experience. So let's first talk about, I haven't really planned this properly, but let's talk about housing first, because I mean, one of the most important things that you need when you are relocating is a roof over your head, somewhere that you can call home. So I mean, if you guys don't know me and you haven't seen me before floating around YouTube, I do have another channel with my boyfriend, and that channel basically kind of took off when I went on there and I made a video about my experience in his deportation, and what really kind of pushed us, not kicked us, but what kind of pushed us to move to Ghana. So I do live in Ghana with my boyfriend, and when we found out that we had to leave England and relocate, he was currently, wow, my English is not coming today. He was in prison at the time, and there wasn't a lot of time. Basically we found out that he was being deported, and literally within a month of that we literally packed up all of our stuff and left. So in regards to housing, luckily he is of Ghanaian descent, so his mum did have an apartment for us to stay at the time. So obviously we were lucky in that sense, because I did kind of have a look at different places to live when I was still in England. However, it's actually really hard to find somewhere, simply because Ghana's a very, very big place, and I had only been to Ghana once before, and I wasn't really familiar. Like, you know, I'd heard of like the obvious places like East Legon and Cantonment. However, I'd never actually, even when I came to Ghana before, I had never gone to these places. When I came to Ghana in 2016, which was the first and only time that I'd ever been to Ghana before moving here, I mainly stayed in an area called Kaswa, and also a few days spent in Takoradi, which is out of Accra. So it was very hard to find somewhere, because I didn't know. And also, even though my boyfriend is Ghanaian, he's only ever been to Ghana on holiday, and he had not been, I mean, apart from the time in 2016 that we came, he had not been for quite a while. So it was actually really, really hard to say, yeah, let's move here. Or also, we didn't know how to go about potentially paying in advance. Like, we didn't know a lot of people here. my boyfriend's family don't really live around the Accra area, so we would have been here on our own. So luckily his mum did have a place for us to stay, which was closer to Kaswa. The closest landmark that people would probably know is a mall called West Hills Mall. The problem with that area is that if you're coming to Ghana and you want to be partying and enjoying and, you know, like networking, that area is quite far away from everything. So at night time we found that it was really quick because we lived kind of near like a dual carriage, like motorway type busy road. So in the night time when we were going to parties and stuff, it was perfectly fine. We'd get to our destination quickly. However, in the daytime, the traffic, it would just take us so long to get to places. So it was kind of hard to like go out and like meet people. Also at night time, the problem with living all the way there was the fact that Ubers and Bolts did not want to take us back. Like people, we would call for an Uber, call for a Bolt, and then they would call us. What Ubers and Bolts do here, they will call you beforehand and they'll say, where are you going? I don't know if it doesn't say on their system, but they'll say, where are you going? And if you tell them you're going to a certain place and it's like far for them, or they don't want to go in that area, especially late at night, they'll literally be like, no, sorry, I'm not going there. So it would literally take us hours to get home. Bear in mind, we came when it was the year of return, so there were a lot of people here, Afro Nation, so there were a lot of people here, and traffic and getting home was a nightmare. Anyway, back to the actual house. So it was an apartment. We were very blessed in the sense that it had furniture. You know, there was a TV, there was a sofa, dining table, bed. Like we had all of the basic essentials. There was a washing machine, a cooker. However, it was very basic compared to what we were used to. There were ceiling fans, but I think also because of the location of the apartment, it was so hot. Like I could not sit like how I'm sitting now and do my makeup. Like it was not possible. I cannot have makeup on. And if you follow the channel that I have with my boyfriend, mankandah vlogs, and you scroll all the way back to the bottom, you will see that majority of the time in videos that we were in the house, I was literally sweating. I mean, probably when we were out, I was probably sweating because I sweat a lot, but in that house, it was a nightmare. Sometimes I would get so frustrated, especially if I had to go somewhere in the daytime and do my makeup. By the time it's time to go, like the taxi's here, my face is just melted off. So I was actually under the impression that I wouldn't be able to wear makeup, which was actually so sad for me. Also wigs, like my wigs, like see how my wig is secure on my head now? Bruh, the glue would literally just melt off because it was so hot. So I literally could not wear makeup and I could not wear wigs for the whole, literally 6 months that we lived there. I mean, apart from that, everything was okay. It was self-service, so we had to top up the electricity. Oh my gosh, but the biggest issue about that area was the light off, so like the electricity cutting out would happen all the time, and when it happened it would literally be off for like hours upon hours. And there's nothing worse than, I mean, the apartment was already hot despite the lack of like air conditioning with those ceiling fans. Oh my goodness, like I just feel like the way that they built it, I don't know, the way that they built it, it was just so hot all the time. It was horrible. Oh my goodness. So yeah, light off would happen all the time. Sometimes when it happened, if we hadn't charged our portable chargers or like it was just taking too long, we would just end up going to the mall and like chilling there for a few hours. And sometimes we'd go to the mall, chill there for a few hours, come back, and the electricity would literally still be off. It was horrible. And then on top of that, it got so dusty. Oh my goodness. And I just don't even understand why. I feel like it's the way that they kind of built the windows. It would get so dusty. Oh, and then there was like this church that was like across from our apartment, and they would literally be at church every single day, and they'd be singing and preaching, and it literally felt like they were in our apartment. I mean, I'm saying all these negative things, but I mean, we were very grateful to be able to have somewhere to go. And we didn't come to Ghana with like a lot of money, so it kind of took like some saving up, and 6 months later we were able to move. Let me just quickly talk about obviously like the year of return, because it was very significant that we came during the year of return. Obviously it wasn't planned, however I wanted to come to Ghana regardless with my friends, because earlier in 2019 I had been to the first Afro Nation, which was in Portugal, which was amazing, and we wanted to actually go to the Afro Nation in Ghana. It just so happened that, you know, my boyfriend got released from prison and happened to get deported, and then like we were just there in Ghana anyways. Speaking of my friends coming and friendships, let's touch on that. So like I said, my friends were here last year, and obviously my boyfriend had been in prison for more than 2 years, like 2 years and a few months, and it still really kind of annoys me, because obviously I wanted to spend all my time with him. Which meant I didn't get to kind of experience Ghana with my friends. I literally met up with my friends like 3 times, which is so annoying. However, luckily one of my friends is coming back. She'll be here next week, so I'm so happy about that, because I get to spend all my time with her. But I mean, apart from that, making friends, I feel like just making friends as an adult is really hard. Like, you don't actually think about how hard it is. And when I think about the majority of my friends I've had since I was a teenager. So as an adult, I feel like it is hard, and just with the kind of culture change and the culture shock, it has been hard. So I don't have a lot of friends now, but the friends that I do have, like, have all either were kind of born and raised in America and have moved back, or born and raised in England and have moved back. I don't have very many like friends that are like born in Ghana and like grew up in Ghana and lived in Ghana. I just feel like, obviously I'm not generalizing everybody. The people that I have met that have been living in Ghana pretty much their whole lives, I don't know, it's just kind of a bit different. I feel like with the certain people that I met, it was kind of like an issue in the sense that I'm not a very like, we have to speak every single day. I am with like the friends that I already have, but with new friends, I'm not really like that. It's kind of like, oh, do you want to get lunch? Sure. Do you want to go out? Sure. Like, do you want to come over? Sure. But it doesn't have to be every day. And I felt that like a lot of the people that I was meeting, it was very much like they're constantly calling, constantly messaging, and if I don't kind of reciprocate the energy, it's kind of seen as like, oh, she must not like me, which literally is not the case. Yeah, not the case. But I mean, I'm still like open. Oh my gosh, this video is literally going to be all over the place, because let's go back to housing. This video is going to be all over the place. Right, back to housing. So we lived in that apartment for 6 months, and then we moved somewhere else. I actually found the house that we moved to online. I was looking between a website called misscameroonco and a website called gg.com. Found a place. The process really annoys me. So we went to go look for a house. It was a 2-bedroom house, and that house was actually like $500 a month. The place that we lived in before, obviously we didn't pay for it, I'm not sure, but it was a lot cheaper. However, you had to pay, like, I think she definitely paid like 1 or 2 years up front. And yeah, so this place was $500 a month, but we had to pay 6 months in advance. Oh my gosh. Like, from day one, there was stress, because obviously we had our money, we were keen to move because we wanted to get out of that place. Also, the area that we moved to was still kind of a bit far out, but it was a lot closer than everything else, like all like clubs and stuff. It was a lot closer than where we were in regards to especially like maneuvering in the daytime when there's normally a lot of traffic. So we thought this would be a great move, and it's just a mess. Like, there are certain things that we were promised that we didn't get, and when things needed to be fixed, they just weren't fixed. So we paid for our rent. On top of that, we paid a service charge. The service charge obviously includes, like, because it wasn't an estate, which we really wanted because of the security. So our service charge paid for, like, the security, and then general maintenance of the estate, as well as things like if our light bulbs need changing, they change them, because they were, like, in the ceiling. If they need changing, they change them, and just kind of general things around the estate. So literally from day one, things, that's a whole nother story. If you want a whole other story about that kind of specific housing experience, I'll let you know. But just briefly to cover it, like, we didn't have any hot water. The hot water was supposed to be fixed. It just wasn't. The boiler was supposed to be fixed. Our pressure was so low. We actually paid money. We paid money to connect to the mains, and they said that that would help. It didn't. Just kind of little things. Also, we don't have a car, so we use Uber. And in the beginning, with the security, it was great because an Uber would come, and then the people on the gate, the security would make the Uber call us so that they could speak to us and confirm. But a lot of the time, like, the Uber would call and it should be like, oh, I'm outside, or oh yeah, I'm here, or like, and it's like, huh? Why are you in the estate? Like, how? It could have been an Uber in disguise. Like, it could have been a robber, a thief, a murderer, like, disguised as an Uber driver, which was kind of scary. But yeah, 6 months later, we kind of have moved out of that situation, and we're living where we live now. We've gone back to an apartment. The best thing about this apartment is the fact that it is in a very, very nice location. And although we pay, like, a considerable amount more, it's worth it, because this apartment is, it was furnished, comes serviced. So if I need toilet roll, I just need to call. If I need a bottle of water, I just need to call. They clean the apartment for us. Obviously, it doesn't mean that we don't clean, but they clean the apartment for us. Like, it's just so convenient. Literally, people come at your beck and call. If we wanted a personal chef, we could have personal chef. And aesthetically, it's exactly how I would like it to be. I have floor-to-ceiling windows, which I've always wanted, with an amazing view. I'm sitting in front of the window right now, and I'm just so happy and blessed to be able to be here. So obviously, I have lived in 3 different properties since, sorry, you can hear a plane. We live near the airport. There's a plane flying over. I've lived in 3 different properties in the space of a year. And obviously every property has gotten better, but it just kind of goes to show that you get what you pay for here. And Ghana's not cheap. Rent is not cheap. If you want, oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, here we pay monthly, because that last experience where we paid 6 months, like, I would have left after the 2nd month because I could see that things were not going how I wanted them to go. But we were tired. In the first place, obviously it wasn't our property, but I would have been so annoyed, because also in that place things were going wrong. The sink started leaking, the toilet started leaking. There was no hot water, the power cuts, like, everything like that. Oh my god, I would have been so annoyed if I was there for a year, 2 years, and you got no choice because you paid the money. Here we pay monthly, and I'm so happy about that, because I mean, there's nothing to complain about so far. Nice hot water, literally everything is here. But it's just nice that if we decided that next month we don't want to live here, we actually don't have to. Like, that's the amazing thing. So yeah, you get what you pay for here. Ghana is not cheap. Like, people need to kind of get rid of that misconception that Africa as a whole is cheap. It is not. I mean, I'm about to go get my nails done, and I'm gonna pay for Uber. I'm gonna pay to get my nails done. And then I'm gonna get hungry, so I'm gonna get hungry. I'm gonna get thirsty, so I'm gonna get a drink. And it just literally adds up and adds up and adds up, and that's it. You you spent like £200 in a day, and that's a lot. So yeah, I've rambled on about housing for a long time. I touched on friendships. Let's talk about transport. Obviously, before I came here, I drove. Like, I was very dependent on my car. I've had my license since I was 18, and I've been on the road ever since then. I'm 24 now. This is the first time ever since I've ever had my license. A whole year without driving. That's crazy. And I hate it, because it means that, like, you always have to wait. Like, I can't just be like, okay, I'm going to the shops. It's either I walk or I have to wait for Uber to come, which is annoying. Also, it means that you always have to kind of carry cash, because Ubers here hate it when you pay by card. They actually hate it. But that's a whole nother story in itself. Like, you don't know what kind of Uber driver or Bolt driver you're gonna get. Some of them drive crazily. A lot of like these truck drivers will, I don't know, you get in their car and they start acting up, and they're just driving fast on purpose in a reckless way, and that's really annoying, because already here the driving's a bit crazy. So it's like, to have a driver that's not safe on top of that, crazy. When we first moved here, literally in our first few months, we were involved in an accident whereby our Bolt driver actually ran somebody over. It was very traumatic, and it actually wasn't the driver's fault. It was the man's fault that was trying to cross like a very busy road, and we were driving about 60 miles per hour. So driving here is kind of traumatic. However, I feel like now I would still rather drive. So that's another thing that I'm working on. However, to get a car here is not easy. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have told me different things. However, overall, everybody's just kind of told me that to drive here is not cheap, because you have to either import a car, and to buy the actual car abroad and import it, it would make sense to get it from America as opposed to England, because then you'd have to change the steering wheel over. But a lot of people have said buying the car is not the problem. It's like the fees, I forget what it's called, but basically the fees that you pay to import the car into Ghana, that's where your money will go, which is crazy. But yeah, I need a car. That's the next thing that I'm working on. I live in a nice place. Now I need a car. Obviously, yeah, you've got Uber and Bolt. That's what we rely on. I use Bolt more because Bolt tends to be a bit cheaper the majority of the time, but sometimes Uber actually ends up being cheaper. I don't really get into taxis. Rarely will I get into taxis, because I mean, with Uber and Bolt, it's safer. At least you know, I mean, it might not actually be the person, but at least you will have like information on the car, the number plate, so you could kind of just send it to somebody, so they potentially could find you if something goes wrong. But just a lot safer than a taxi, because you get into a taxi and then that's kind of it. Also, taxis are normally a lot more expensive, like especially if you're not from Ghana. Like, people always know that you're not from here, even if you don't say anything. I don't know if it's like what we wear, how we do our hair, I actually don't know, but they know. And people will increase the prices of stuff, which is annoying, but I mean, you get used to it. After living here for a year, I know the prices of most things. So if someone tells me a price, I will know that, no, it's not that. In regards to work, a job, so before I moved to Ghana, I actually had a salon. I was actually in my first year of business, which was kind of annoying, a bit sad, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and it's crazy how I left my business in December of last year, and then like as soon as we hit 2020, Corona comes and literally locks off everything. So I was actually talking to my friend the other day, and she was like, wow, like what would you actually have been doing if you were still in the UK? Because I was in my first year of business, and a lot of the help that the government are offering, they're offering it to people that have kind of been in business for a while. So I would have literally been like just unemployed, and that's so scary. So like I mentioned earlier, I shared like my story mine and my boyfriend's story about like how we ended up moving here, and that literally like took off. I was reading about myself on blogs, seeing myself on Instagram, and we kind of generated views and subscribers to the point where our channel was monetized and we were able to live off of that. After a while, obviously our views have kind of been going down, so that money is not necessarily enough to live off of, which is fine because my primary source of income is actually my hair and my wigs that I sell. I've been very blessed enough to be able to still be in contact with my hair supplier and have my wigs, my hair, my bundles shipped over, and I've been making wigs for people, which has been brilliant, and I'm so grateful and so shocked at how well it's been for my customers when it comes to selling my wigs actually in the UK, which is crazy. So I've been just having to deal with DHL, which can be quite expensive, but I'm just happy that the business is growing. Right now I'm actually sold out, but my business will continue to grow. Initially, my plan was to come here and open up a salon straight away, because my salon in the UK, I literally opened it up within like a month, less than that, like 3 weeks. But here's very different, because the locations that you would like, that you probably would like, well, that I would like, are not cheap. It's really expensive. And on top of them being expensive, people want you to pay like a year, 2 years, 5 years even, and like that's crazy. Once you pay for your rent, like you need money to like furnish it. Like then there's just too much involved. So the kind of salon that I would like, for the prices that I would have had to pay just for rent alone, it wasn't making sense. And if I want to start up a business with a physical location, I don't want it to just be like anyhow, just for the sake of opening, especially when I can like make money from selling wigs right now without even a physical location. In the beginning, so I thought that I would need basically like a base to be able to like do hair. However, so I found a location, the place where I actually get my nails done. The lady who owns it is so lovely, so I thought I would, you know, pay her monthly to be able to kind of set up my stuff, and the plan was to be able to kind of like make my wigs there, and like do installs and stuff like that. However, it didn't really work out how I thought it would. Literally the first day that I went there with a few of my wigs, I sold a wig, like literally the first day, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be perfect, because she has a lot of clients. I thought, fantastic. And then literally after that, I just started like getting loads of sales through Instagram, because of YouTube, just directly through my website, and it was like, whoa. So yeah, it kind of didn't work out how I wanted it to. Like I did do a few installs there. I did a few people's makeup there as well, because I do makeup too. But ever since I've come to Ghana, especially for the first 6 months, because I didn't even do makeup at all, I didn't feel like it would be possible. Right now I'm actually considering doing makeup again, like properly, but it's in the works. I need to get better products and stuff like that. But yeah, and now that I've moved house, I'm in a completely different area to where I was before, so I'm not close to that salon anymore. I actually, after this, I'm going there to get my nails done, because I'm a loyal customer. But in regards to going there every single day, I don't know how that would work, which is really sad, because I love it there and I love everybody there. So it is really sad, but I mean, it is what it is. We just have to see how it goes. She is amazing, like I said, and I would love to be able to go there every single day, but it's hard. So work-wise, I mean, if I wasn't doing YouTube and didn't have my wigs, I don't know what I would do, because in regards to a full-time job, I don't like, it's just not for me. Like I'm just not one of those people. Like if I had to, cool, but in terms of doing that and being able to enjoy life, especially in Ghana, Ghana, there's so much to do here. Like you can literally, going outside, you're like on holiday, the weather's always warm, there's always a bar, there's always a nice restaurant, you can go to the beach, like it's amazing. So why would I want to be cooped up inside every day when I could just be working for myself and being able to enjoy at the same time? Because right now I love my home. I'm so happy and comfortable here. So being able to work from home, amazing. And moving forward, I would like to, like I said, I want to do makeup, and if I do have installs, I would love to be able to do them from home. Yeah. And also another reason why, like, in terms of the people that I was selling my wigs to, in terms of installs, like all my wigs are glueless. Like this is a 5x5 closure wig. I glue it down by choice. Like I don't have to, literally I don't have to. So yeah, it would be other people bringing me their hair, because I don't tend to make frontal wigs. I make like 6x6 and 7x7 and 5x5 closures mainly. So I wouldn't like, it's not necessary. So we've touched on housing, we've touched on transport, touched on friends, work. What else is there? Obviously, just in general, moving to Ghana has been crazy. Like when I was first here, I was literally like depressed because it was like COVID, so we were like on lockdown, couldn't go anywhere, and we were cooped up in an apartment that I just was not happy in. Like it was dark, like, oh my gosh, the apartment itself didn't get a lot of light, so it was dark, it was hot, like, yeah, luckily we had Netflix, but oh my god, we didn't have Netflix, I just would have just slept. Like it was a really dark time, and I was actually heavily considering moving. And also at the time I was kind of down because we had actually I had planned to go to England for a bit, get a few things, because I didn't have any like clothes. I came here with like a suitcase. Me and my boyfriend came here with a big suitcase each. That's not enough to put your whole life in. So I wanted to go back to England, do some clothes shopping, and just get myself together, and then be able to come back, do the things I wasn't able to do. And obviously because of lockdown, I couldn't do that, which is why I've actually been here for a full year without any kind of travel. And even like, it was only like a month ago that I actually got some new clothes. Like after 11 months without buying clothes, it's crazy. So there definitely have been challenges. I definitely had a lot of regrets, in the sense that I just wish I had had more time to probably plan. I mean, I feel like with moving, unless you have unlimited resources in regards to like money, you'll never be able to kind of leave in the way that you'd want to leave England or wherever you are. So it is hard. I definitely wish that I had had more money, but because it wasn't planned, I hadn't really been saving up for that. It was December, and I knew that my boyfriend was coming out of prison the following year in April, so I kind of had time to be saving up, but literally a month. Yeah, it was crazy. So I had to just try and tie up loose ends as quickly as I could, which was, I mean, was stressful, and I didn't really have enough time to properly like spend time with my family, especially with my sisters, which I would have loved to do. And it was actually my sister that reminded me that like, we haven't seen you in a year, and it's so sad. So that's one of my biggest regrets, kind of not being able to leave. Like I wish I didn't kind of leave so abruptly. I wish there was time so that like my sisters would have been able to like process me going. Obviously my mum does business here, so I last saw my mum in May, so it's not that serious. But my sisters, it's literally been a full year. One of my favorite aunties, she got married, and I wasn't able to go to her wedding because like COVID. So I do have certain regrets. However, overall, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to be in this position where I am now. Like even in England, like this apartment that I live in, I did not live in this kind of place in England. I mean, this is the first time I've actually kind of lived properly, independently, with just me and my boyfriend. And it's literally by the grace of God that we are able to kind of be here, because obviously with him coming out of prison, it's not like he had lots of money saved up. It's not like he had like a job lined up. Like in the beginning, it was like I was kind of supporting the both of us, and it was a lot. So I'm just grateful to be able to be here and, you know, be happy, and everything kind of is working in the way that it should. Don't get me wrong, I'm still nowhere near anywhere where I'd like to be, but for now, like, I'm happy. I mean, there's not a lot of 24-year-olds that are necessarily living the way that I'm living, with kind of no help, because I don't ask my mum for money. I don't ask anybody, any family members, for like financial support. Everything is just me and my boyfriend, just us trying to work hard in this situation. However, I've said everything to kind of say I would urge everybody, literally everybody, I would actually urge everybody to try and live somewhere else, because if that whole kind of deportation and prison situation hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have like said, oh, I'm moving to Ghana. I wouldn't have got up and said I'm moving anywhere, and I wouldn't have known how happy I actually could be if I didn't take that plunge. So I urge everybody to just go and experience something new. I know that it's hard for a lot of people. I'm definitely a very spontaneous person, so it wasn't really hard for me to kind of like pack up and say I'm going. But I know I'm the kind of person where like I know that wherever you put me, I'll make it work. So yeah, it definitely has had its challenges. I definitely have wanted to pack my bags more than once, but like literally, like I said, by the grace of God, I'm here, I'm happy, and I'm amazed that it's been a year. A lot of the time it doesn't feel like it's been so long, but it actually has, and I'm proud of myself for being able to like stick it out. Not because Ghana's hard, but because I didn't have a lot. I didn't know. I feel like you don't know, you can't really know unless you're actually here. So like I said, that misconception that Africa's cheap, and you know, yeah, there are a lot of things that are cheap, but there are a lot of things that are really expensive, like housing, like cars. So, and if you want luxury, when I say luxury, I mean air conditioning. If you want, you know, if you don't want your electricity to cut out, because ever since we've been here, which is almost a month, we've had 2 power cuts. And when I say those, like the electricity comes back on within literally a few seconds. Like the only reason that I would know that the power has gone off is if like I'm watching TV and it quickly just goes off, then it comes back on. Like, what? Whereas I came from having power cuts for hours upon it. Like, there were times that a whole day would go past, I'd wake up and the electricity is still off. Like, what? So yeah, I'm so grateful. And this is a journey, especially like business wise. I'm so happy to be able to have the opportunity to grow. And also it's December now, like it's party season, and it feels so good. First of all, I live very close to like the clubs, very close. But second of all, it's also really nice to be able to live and like know where I'm going. Like I know the different areas. I know, you know, I know Cantonments, I know Leboni, I know Osu, I know Kaswa, I know Dansoman. Like I know the different areas. Like I can get my way around, and I love that. I mean, sorry, back to transport. If it's not Uber that I'm taking, I'm happy to jump on a trotro, like, and know where I'm going and know how much I'm paying for things. So yeah, there are so many things I haven't covered, but I just feel like it's so hard to cover everything in one video. And I already know this video is going to be long, but if you have got this far, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I do hope you subscribe and stick around. Hopefully I will be more consistent. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.